Hi, everybody. It's Linda Morrison here from the AgelessBody Formula and Ageless Business. This is the Art of Listening interview series that keeps on giving to me more than I ever thought when I came up with the idea in the middle of the night in November. I am really super happy to keep extending this, and each and every interview has become unique, and I've actually learnt more, I believe, than I've imparted by actually listening to these wonderful people, entrepreneurs from around the world, really, whom are wanting to help people. There's many jobs they could probably do, but here they are listening to people to help further their lives and get them from A to B in what I say, in my own words, is the shortest amount of time, with the least amount of pain, the most amount of joy. And that's definitely what these people tend to do. It's really exciting right now for me to be back here in my Melbourne state with the beautiful Suzana Mihajlovic. And I might have nailed that, but I might not have. Please, Suzana, tell people how to say your name for a start, but also,
Sure.
but also who you are and who you serve and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, Linda, thank you so much for having me here with you. I am honestly deeply honoured. So thank you for your time and for having me as your guest. I love your work and what you do. So it's an honour to be here. So the most common question that I get asked is, how do I pronounce your surname? So it's Mihajlovic. So you almost got it, which is great. Most people mess it up, but you almost got it. So just a little bit about me. I am a success coach. I've been in the field of human potential all of my adult life. It was something that I knew that I was going to do as a child. Studied at Deakin University, which we have in common, psychology, counselling, and then went into, human services and got into leadership. So I have had over 2 decades of experience in leadership, but my passion is the work and always has been the work that I'm doing now.
Wonderful, fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about some of those jobs in that time? Because I've always had a massive interest in success. I've got two pretty incredible children who are represent Australia for their athletic prowess in different things,
Wow.
but also are now into their second degrees and all the things, which
Wow.
um, I don't know when that's going to end, but anyway, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing. That's on
Yeah.
that level, but also works with people in their transformation. So, and their 10 out of 10 can often be they go from not sleeping to sleeping, or, not always, becoming a world-class athlete or anything like that. But can you tell me a little bit about um, because I know when I was at university, especially Deakin University, it was massive on positive psychology, which was just a new buzzword quite some time ago.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
went from a behavioral science um, person to into sociology and then human movement. So I sort of
Aha.
a different stream to go maybe to something similar to what we're doing now. But um, tell me about that, because for many people, um, I believe they need someone beside them, a hype coach and a real good coach, and all of another entourage to get to where they need to go. But often they think that they might be able to do it themselves. Can you,
Yeah.
sort of go
One,
backwards to go
yeah,
forwards on all of
absolutely.
that?
100%. I think we all need somebody, to guide us, no matter what you've achieved. Absolutely. First of all, when I was at Deakin University, I just want to say this: we didn't have positive psychology, so
Well,
it
it
shows
actually
at
came
my age.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually came through the physical education department, which was
Oh,
awesome.
wow,
Geelong
wow.
University, because I always also spent a year at La Trobe University. I didn't get that feel at all. It's quite clinical.
Yeah.
But I went to
Yes, it
Deakin,
was. Yeah.
which was all about health sciences. And
Yes.
yeah, it seemed to be a lot more practical for me and my brain anyway. And
Yes, yes,
yeah,
great university. Yeah, it was
yeah,
one of the leading. psychology universities in Australia when I was there. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I absolutely 100% believe that everybody needs somebody to guide them, and I'm always investing in great coaches or education. So it's absolutely paramount to your transformation. Now, the issue is we are saturated with coaches these days. Every second person wants to be a coach, and they're not well trained, or not all of them are well trained. So then they're not able to dig deep into the subconscious or what's really going on. The thing that I love positive psychology, but there to there tends to have been a culture developed out there that started off with science-based, but with maybe limited experience, people are saying, oh, just think positive. You can achieve anything if you just think positive. And for me, there is a thing called positive toxicity. Now, I'm not saying that you don't change your mindset. We always have to be working on our mindset. However, there's so many layers to understanding a human being. There may be past traumas that need to be uncovered. There might be a person might be experiencing grief. A person may have even developed some mental health issues that need to be unpacked. And one of the biggest shocks for me was seeing a top coach last year, February last year, commit suicide. One of the least expected person that I would have thought this would have happened to. So we've got to be really careful as to how we're working with people. And that's why, whenever you are looking for a coach or mentor, make sure that they're the right one for you.
Beautiful.
Having said that, someone that has the experience, someone that is not just telling, someone that can sit with you and understand you. And a part of that is, Linda, as you would know, is active listening. And of course, it's not just listening, but active listening is probably the starting point. It's not, there is no one way for everybody. There is no just think positive, you'll be okay, or just be grateful. Gratitude, sure, studies show, Harvard Psychological School of Psychology and other universities show that gratitude does rewire the brain. It's very important. However, we've got to be really careful of the culture of coaches out there saying, oh, you'll be right, just think positive, just be gratitude. Positive thinking and gratitude is a part of moving through difficult times and moving through mental health and issues and having a great life. Absolutely.
Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you for actually saying that. So having grown up, literally grown up in fitness and around athletes and around this ascension to always being better, no matter what it was. So academically, in your relationships, in parenting, whatever it was. And I remember saying something once, like some things, and excuse me, everybody, but some things are actually shit.
Yeah.
Experience is actually shit. And why should I have to always try to find the silver lining in everything today when I'm still going through something?
That's
And
right.
and I was sort of and also the pressure I put on myself, 2 babies in 20 months. I was pregnant and breastfeeding for 4 years, didn't sleep for 6 years. That was kind of a lot. It was kind of a lot. And so to say that you were tired or a bit run down or you felt like you were put upon, I always like to say, everyone, gives me all their jobs, to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to say that. It's okay to actually say
it is absolutely okay.
Yeah, so I hear you in actually saying that.
Yeah, I love what you've said, Linda, because it's okay to name it and share what you're experiencing. It's actually quite important. Now, there's a difference between staying there and becoming a victim and allowing that experience to move through you, or asking for help.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's extremely important. And on other interviews that have actually come up, Susanna, and this may have been your observation over a lot of years, because quite often there's a catalyst as to why people come to us at some point or why we seek help. And I've never really known a woman not to have some type of um, a breakdown or real wobble or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
where she's actually gone, wow, if I continue this way, I'll be dead, or
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
make more mistakes, or I'll lose my
Yes.
marriage, or I'll hurt myself. Or
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the wobbles and the grief and the difficult times are absolutely necessary, because if you allow yourself to go through them and feel them and experience them rather than use them to become a victim or run from them, if you allow yourself to move through them, they crack your heart open. They crack parts of you open. You start to experience parts of yourself that you may have never experienced before. They help us reevaluate our life, like you said. I think they are absolutely necessary. And I feel that we are in a culture where we're so blessed to be living in the era that we're living now, because we have the hygiene, we have, most of us have a warm home, everything that we want or need is easily accessible. So we've conditioned ourselves to have instant gratification. But instant gratification, although it's comfortable and we have our needs met and it's fun and we're lucky, instant gratification in times of growth and it is not always the best solution for you.
I would happen to agree. And our body actually needs, well, if you use exercise as a metaphor, is that you don't
Absolutely.
you don't grow. Your muscles don't grow and get stronger
Yeah.
in its comfort zone. And the same can be said for our lives, I think. And
Yes.
but on the flip side is that the constant striving um, can be a lot for people as well.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
and especially those that happen to be
Yeah.
in the room, probably happen to be ambitious and
Yes.
forward thinking and all of the things. And part of my research before I started this art of listening, so I just came up with that in in the night, basically, the art of listening, art of communication and whatever, but it's a doing word. So you're never done, and you can never, uh, you can always get better. So you don't
Yes.
just learn a skill and that's the best you are. You can always, get better at communication and listening and all the things. So it is a real growth flex that we actually have. And what I actually learned from it is that the person being listened to, they don't necessarily need to be fully understood at that moment in time, but they've had the experience of being heard in that time. And that in itself is actually a real landing. And in this world of faster, better, more
Yeah.
immediate, all the things,
Yeah.
do you feel, because been my observation, that this has been a little bit lost, but also it's going to be a superpower moving forward as well. Can you
Absolutely.
speak into that just a little bit if we can
Absolutely,
geek people out?
absolutely. May I just, before I speak about that, may I share? I really share your view on the striving too. We're in a world
Yeah.
where we're constantly striving and we want more and we want, or a lot of people do, not everybody, and we get to the point of burnout and sometimes illness. To me personally, there's a difference between wanting to get better and improve from a place of deep purpose and understanding who you are, and striving from a place of lack. But that might be another topic for
A
another
whole other
time.
podcast, but
But
I
yeah,
absolutely agree. I
yeah,
absolutely agree.
yeah.
Just to speak into that a little bit, I've worked with women a lot, and this is myself included, is that my arrived is not the same as someone else's.
Yes, yes, I
So
love that.
so
It's so important, isn't
I
it?
get this all the time is like
Yeah.
you should be happy with, you should be happy.
Yes,
I'd
yes,
be happy with what you've got. And
yes,
that is, and also having a deeper meaning behind something is not always why I've gotten, I haven't known what it is. I haven't been able to articulate it exactly, and that's been okay too. So it's sort of,
yes,
it hasn't looked like a spreadsheet, so to speak. It's
yes,
actually just been this thing, and so that can be a creative process, which is frustrating
absolutely.
sometimes as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a whole new, isn't it? A whole
Yeah,
other podcast. There's so
yeah,
much, yeah, so much. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. So to answer your question about listening and and it feels like we're moving more into it, and active listening. I agree because we are in a fast-paced society, and maybe because we haven't really been taught how to listen, but also we haven't been taught to be present. I
yeah,
think it all comes from being present with a person. So if you're not present, you're also not present with yourself. So something that someone else might say because it's their own experience, if you're not present, not only are you not listening, but you're not able to hone in on yourself, on your own triggers, and why that's triggering you. It may not have anything to do with you. I think we are moving into, it's really exciting because I think on the flip side of, having the culture of positive thinking and personal development out there and accessible, there's also the movement with mindfulness, and we now really understand the importance of meditation. All of that is starting to become more and more widely known and widely accepted, and it's become a natural part of people's lives. So the more we delve into mindfulness and presence, that presence has to come in to other areas of our life, including really sharing a presence of a relationship, sharing this time that we've got together without me thinking I've got to do this and I've got to do that.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
It is,
yeah,
that is actually quite amazing, and I've had to teach myself that from burnout
yes,
I had. But literally, if I wasn't doing something, I felt like I wasn't useful or moving
yes,
forward.
yeah,
Then if I reframed it, no, you're resting your mind and you're going slow so you can go fast next. Like it was sort of I had to coach myself on that. Absolutely.
yeah,
This whole
and
constant thing about
yeah.
being um, constantly doing something,
Absolutely,
moving forward.
absolutely, and that constantly being busy and having to do something really it can take away being present, but also what it does, it moves us away from understanding ourselves and understanding our higher faculties and understanding the truth of who we are beyond the physical. So what you said earlier, which I absolutely loved, you said that the idea of, for the art of listening came to you in the middle of the night. You
Yeah.
weren't doing anything. You were sleeping. You were at rest, right?
Well,
So,
yes, yes.
so what,
Again, I was
yeah,
trying not to think about anything, and then
yeah.
what happened? Something
That's right.
came
That's
in.
right. So you look at our geniuses. I just came back. I spoke at the Nikola Tesla Science Foundation conference in New York,
Amazing,
and
amazing.
we stayed in the hotel that he lived in, and it inspired me to even look deeper into this great mind. And he was brilliant at using his imagination and really honing in on the solution that he wanted. He could
Yeah.
see it before it came to him, but also he was highly intuitive. He developed his, higher faculty of intuition. So a lot of, one of his main, things that he had created, it came from, he was just in a park. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, this thing came through him and he drew it in the sand. So one of the inventions, that's the word that I was looking for. And
Yeah.
and that happened often with him. So
Yeah.
when he was in a relaxed state, the
Yes.
answer would come.
Yeah. Yeah. There's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. With my research on burnout, because there's another word just for breakdown, or getting
Yes.
your tether, or
Yeah.
whatever words we're using. But burnout was that it's not that you. Yeah, it's not that you can't do more, or do what you're doing isn't the right amount, but are you allowing yourself that idle time to then allow the creativity to come in, or the ideas to consolidate? And in many ways, any mentorship or mentoring that I've had, or coaching that I've actually had, it's been about then getting these ideas out. And because I'm very auditory, I actually need to experience those ideas in words to be able to pull them back in, put them into
Yes.
something, and
Yeah.
then go again. So
Yes.
there is a whole other way that I believe the art of listening really, really works. And that mentor that's held space for that for me
Yes.
um,
Yes. That's right.
has
That's
allowed
right.
me to get to where I need to go. And
Yes.
it's never been my family or my mum or my sister. It's always
Yes.
been something in a container that I've
Yes.
actually paid for, usually,
Yes.
to be able to be that
Yes.
person that they see me as, perhaps. That
Absolutely.
kind of yeah.
Absolutely.
So I always think you're never a hero in your own lunchbox. So if I
No.
walk down the street in
Yes.
Edentown, I'm Ed's mum or Mackenzie's mum or the aerobics instructor from 90 that they used to go to classes with, or I'm never this next transformation of
Yeah.
what I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
gonna be.
And you know what was just beautiful, like with what you said? So you said, I'm very auditory, right? So your coach, the person you were working with, was able to see that as a unique part of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
But
so
I didn't need reams to read. Yeah, I
yeah,
needed to pull into
yes,
this might be an idea, it might not, and am I
yes,
crazy? And this is what,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
100%. And then it became something immediately, literally
yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
And then
uh,
I don't know if this is who needs to hear this, but quite often, because I am so auditory, I'll speak to my phone um, in my own voice, and then I'll listen back. It's only for me, and I'll listen back to it, and then like, what even was that? But I
yeah,
need to hear it back so I can develop it more. And that helps me as well, as opposed and writing does too. Actual
yeah.
old-fashioned writing with a piece of paper.
Yes, me too. And a pen. I don't do it on the
Yeah.
computer. Pen and piece. I've always got journals. Yeah.
Well, there's a
So
lot of study
yeah,
about that, about the
yeah,
act of that. Yeah.
yeah,
And even if you're
absolutely.
studying to get ready for an exam, they've proven that that is a better way than typing it. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And, because of the hand movement and, the receptors going to your brain, to different parts, activating your brain, you're using your imagination, you're connecting to feeling. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. You're
You're
using so many
studious.
elements of, yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm a copious note taker, like always have been.
Me too.
Always.
In fact, my children were home
Yeah.
that summer, and I got them both just those basic, notebooks. New year, need a new notebook. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we don't really write that much, Mum." And I'm like, "You should. You should. Listen to your teacher. Listen to your teacher." Yeah, but they'll use it. Of course, everyone needs notepaper. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love a list, and the
Yeah.
digital list ticking off stuff not near as satisfying as.
No, I agree. Yes, I wrote my list out. I've got it. I've always got it on my desk. 5 things. 5 things every day that I
Beautifully said. In a
nurture.
time of high stress, when I was, divorcing the kid's dad and things, and I literally couldn't think. I used to write lists of 20, and then
Yeah,
after that, I had three. I
yeah,
couldn't, my brain just did not work
yeah,
that way anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I went, well, if it's not important to be the top three, then it won't be on there, because then
Perfect.
I'd get through
Yeah,
those by
yeah,
9:30, I'd get through those. Then there's a new three.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I thought, you're
Exactly.
not getting anywhere. Actually, it was the most effective thing.
You are. Because remember, your mind needs a goal, and your mind can't focus on too many things at the one time. Okay? Otherwise, you'll be just, that's why we get scattered and stressed and
Yeah.
procrastinate. But by
That's
having simple, even goals, 1 to 2 big goals, that's all. And the rest will start to to get there also. So yeah, definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Susanna, what are you working on for 2025? And then I'll let you move into how people can connect with you. We'll have a couple of links below that they can find you as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love that question. I'm so excited about 2025. We spoke briefly before the interview. I just came back from New York City. My co-author and I we released a book, Renewing Your Mind, and a program 2 years ago, and that was just so well received, and the results that people achieved from that program were fantastic. And now we launched our workbook, Renewing Your Mind workbook, and journal. They're all available on Amazon. So we are now delving into the program that's coming up. I've got some new individual one-on-one clients that I'm working with. And yeah, we just want to get out there and just help as many people as we can.
I absolutely love that. And thank you so much for actually saying that, because I feel as an early empty nester, I'm doing it all again, renewing my mind, renewing my next stage
Yes,
of life,
yes,
etc. And then also, I'm not meant to know the answer straight away. So
yeah.
it's beautiful. And the plasticity of the mind is quite incredible.
It's amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And I'm a
We are
little bit tired
so amazing.
yeah, it's certain, because I, work with people over the decades. I'm a little bit tired that there's a lot of rhetoric around your mind just gets worse and it starts heading towards dementia, or it's heading towards something else. It really bothers me in a way. So I love the title of that book, because it's sort of like, well, no, you might not be as quick in some things as you were when you were 20, but actually, the mind, the brain is
Yeah.
has this plasticity, and it does actually gravitate to what you're interested in. So it might feel like it's decaying in some areas, but maybe you're not interested in
Yeah,
that anymore. It's like
exactly. That's
me,
so good.
me and
Yeah,
shopping.
exactly.
I used to love shopping.
Exactly.
Now I'm
Yes,
like, oh, it's just,
yes, yes.
it's like I've
Yeah.
decayed the shopping bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's such a great example, isn't it? And we're constantly renewing our mind, constantly, And once you do reach one goal, because we've got infinite potential, we have so much potential. Science can't even tell us exactly how much potential we have. We just have to learn to tap into it more, and because we have infinite potential, every time we get close to or we achieve a goal, there is another renewing, there is another process, there is another version of us that's wanting to expand. You mentioned idleness, and in our workbook, the Renewing Your Mind workbook, we've actually got drawings in there for to color in. So there's a lot of research. So adult coloring, doesn't only relax your mind, and it's not only a form of meditation, but it actually opens up some of your higher faculties, and it has so many benefits to it.
Thank you for actually saying that. No, I will. You've reminded me. Do you remember when we used to have phones that are attached to the wall, and there was a pad there to write down notes, like
Yes,
we were,
yes, we did too, didn't we? The
um,
notepad, yes, the telephone,
we
yeah.
would often doodle, like
Yes,
doodle.
we would. Yes,
Yeah,
that's so true. We would.
yeah. And
Yes.
so that you're listening, actively listening.
Yes.
That's all you can do. But actually, you're right there listening, and as you're doing that, you might be
Yes.
drawing.
Doodling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
doodling. Just, and it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if it's good, bad, or whatever.
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah.
I find that, yeah, isn't that interesting? Because no one taught us to do that, actually.
No, it was a natural, yeah.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about notebooks and that and being copious note takers. You've actually reminded me, like sitting at university or high school, and, whenever, I'd be listening, I'd be doodling too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we're slowing down the brain waves so that we can receive more. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to remind my daughter because she used to make these amazing mandalas when she was 8, 7, those sorts of things. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
when did you go to art class, or when was art class today so you could do that? She goes, no, Mama, when I'm listening to the teacher and I'm bored, I do that. And I don't think that's what she was actually saying. I
Yes.
think she was still listening,
Yes.
but she was doing that, and she would create, and I've still got a few of them. In fact, coloring on my
Yeah.
retreats, I actually printed out loads of those. I must tell her this. All these things
Yes.
happen. It's fascinating. So I print out her mandalas, which were not perfect. They looked kind of perfect enough for me. If
Mm.
anyone doesn't know a mandala, what would you say? It's a flower and it's got lots of detail in it, kind of.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
but it can be
absolutely.
never ending. And so she freehand drew them. But I get the ladies to color those things
Wow.
while I was, if they wanted to, it was a choice.
Yeah.
While I was doing a lecture on something important, like eating enough protein or something. I
Yeah.
don't know what I was doing.
Genius. Absolute
Yeah, but
genius.
they were just,
Yeah.
and they loved it. They're like, oh, what did you like about today? And then I'd see what they created. It was quite, some people was all yellow, other people was like,
I
all,
know. We're so unique, aren't we? Yeah, I know. I know. I was actually coloring in the workbook yesterday. I had some time off, so I thought, and I ended up completing three. And I was thinking, gee, I wonder what Makini's version looks like. Or we have to get, our clients to send their versions of the coloring in
yeah,
because they'd be very, very different.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
amazing. And then for the sake of, like, we just because there's no outcome to this, and that, yeah, that brings on a whole other podcast, doesn't it, about adult play and do we play enough or do we play at all?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
I have totally, totally loved being with you today, Susanna. Thank you so much for coming on The Art of Listening. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda. The feeling's mutual. I feel like we can talk all day. So thank you so much. And thank you again for the incredible work that you're putting out into this world. Love it. Thank you.
Appreciate that.